the most insane one that I've ever done is the one I just flew back from. The one that we rescheduled this podcast because it literally was a dream come true.
Workflows is a podcast about saving you time and money in your photography business. I'm your host, Scott Wyden-Kifowitz, a photographer and content creator who struggles with dyslexia, color blindness, introversion, and anxiety stemming from years of being bullied as a child. Guess what? Workflows have been my rock. I have workflows for every aspect of my life. That's why I am so happy to bring you Workflows, a podcast presented by Imagen. As a company dedicated to saving you time and money in your photography business, it makes sense to enhance and expand the conversation to all things workflows. Tune in and subscribe to hear stories, strategies, and tools that can be your rock. Hear from people just like you. Get to work with Workflows. Nicole Ashley is a Canon Canada Ambassador and is not only a passionate photographer who sees the world through her lens, but is also an active educator in the photo community, leveraging her Bachelors of Education degree to mentor other photographers. Beyond the camera, Nicole's personal life is equally captivating, married to her best friend, John, an incredible artist and father, and mother to a beautiful daughter. Nicole has an infectious energy that many of her clients say makes them feel like they've known her forever. Grab your coffee or tea. This is a great episode. Normally I start out with like, hey Nicole, what's going on? But I feel like I'm just going to start out with us laughing because it's so funny.
Yeah.
I like to not cut things out unless it's like I have to. So
yeah,
we're just going with it.
I think people appreciate that. People want to see all of the BTS.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I'm glad we're doing this. We were just talking before we started recording that it's a crazy time going on in the world right now, and we've got to just go on with stuff and keep doing our thing and laugh and just be ourselves and keep our minds occupied on positivity. So that's what we're here to do today. We're here to talk about positive things in our photography businesses. Yeah. So, hi, Nicole.
Hi.
I'm going to get right into it and just ask you the first question I asked every guest, and that is what is one thing that you do for the photographic process behind the camera that has saved you time?
One thing that I do with the entire photo process that saves me time?
Could be with the camera, could be with lighting, could be something with lenses, could be with an assistant, whatever it is, you're behind the camera, you haven't even gotten to actually taking a picture yet. What's one thing you do to save yourself time?
Oh, and I haven't even taken a picture yet.
I mean, maybe you took a picture, but you're still behind.
I was going to say, I was like, obviously Imagen. I would not be able to do life without it now. I think my biggest fear is that I've had a taste and for some reason you're going to take it away. And I'll be like, no, what will I do?
And we will have more than enough time to talk about Imagen stuff too. But for now, let's talk about other stuff. Yeah.
So for me, I like to go into sessions feeling really calm, really clear of what we're shooting. That what I shoot is very diverse than even from what I show, because I do actually shoot a lot of commercial work. I actually do a lot of styling and production stuff behind the scenes, but so often I'm signing NDAs. I can't share what I'm doing.
Right.
So something that saves me time is writing out to-do lists, going over mood boards, everything like that, and prepping everything I do before a shoot the night before. Right down to laying out my outfit. I can
see for sure. I mean, when you're doing these commercial jobs, right, where they're highly, the production value is way above the norm, right? The stuff that you've been doing more regularly over the past few years and whatnot, right? So mood boards, I've got to imagine are sort of like an essential piece in that puzzle, right?
Definitely. Yeah.
I'm curious, are you a digital mood boarder or a physical mood boarder?
So I used to be physical mood boarder,
Okay.
but as things have gotten easier with technology over the years and like
Mm.
with Canva and obviously Pinterest, and then even just like with the way businesses work, like I used to find when I used to do majority of my work in where I live, then physical mood boards made sense. But so often I'm working with team members in different locations. So being able to send out something digital like is just the way to do it, whether it's showing textures or color schemes. And then, or if I'm like actually like shopping for something and taking pictures and adding it to that way. But yeah, I think because so much of my work is all over the place, digital is just the way to go.
And so a secondary question, because you brought up the NDA thing, which I totally get, right? It makes sense for, let's say, XYZ brands coming out with this product and they want you to go shoot a campaign, right? Which is a very regular part of your life. And and you have to sign this NDA, but you're doing the planning digitally so that your team, wherever they are, can help with the process to get everything going. Do you have them sign NDAs as well?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, everyone. Anybody involved has to.
Nice. Cool.
Yeah. All it takes is someone to have a glass of wine with a friend and be like, you got to make sure, right from like hair and makeup to who's ever, DP's lighting, anyone has to do it. Yeah.
What is the coolest, unless it's one that you're in the middle of now, but besides from that, what is one that you're allowed to talk about that's your coolest, most extravagant, most fun for you personally campaign that you've done?
Honestly, the most insane one that I've ever done is the one I just flew back from. The one that we rescheduled this podcast because it literally was a dream come true. And I got to, it's funny because I was hired for one role and ended up not only doing some behind the scenes photography, but set styling and modeling. Imagine this like done up. So it was a unique experience, and I really thrive off working with different artists and seeing different people's roles. And this one had like the biggest team that I had worked with to date. So it was really cool because I feel like I learned so much, and the brand itself is the biggest brand that I've worked with yet. So when I can talk about that one, this was the big one.
Nice. I can't wait to hear more about it when you...
Yeah, I know. I'm like, I can't wait to share. I actually because I get asked, I do a lot of mentoring with photographers and like education stuff, as you know. And I always get asked, like, do you have YouTube, or do you vlog, or whatever? So knowing this was like the biggest one that I've ever worked on, I actually like vlogged all of it in preparation to start a vlog. I just haven't done any of that yet, but just because it was such a high scale thing, I will properly be able to show it off when I can.
Nice. That's going to be cool to watch then. I'm excited.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah.
So we're talking about business a bit. Let's shift into my business question. What is one thing you do for business that either saves you time or money? Again, not Imagine. We will get to Imagine, but overall in your business, what's one thing that saves you time or money?
There's so many things. Definitely streamlining things like if I'm sending out repeat emails, like having email templates that I customize and personalize beyond there, but having that stuff set up from there is really helpful. And then obviously the different programs that I use that I've tested out that I know streamline my business from there. So I don't know if you want me to stick with the one or like start listing or...
Well, no, that's good. I mean, so what? Everybody has their preferred, tools that they use for email automation, CRM, stuff like that. What is it that you found that has worked best for you?
So for me, the website that I use, actually, I'm able to make like custom client portals within it. So from there, I can send out my invoices. They can pay me directly through there. It just keeps everything really organized, and that's through Focal. So that's my Focal website. Before then, I used to be making like random like pages documents and just writing notes, and it was just, as you know, as work gets busy, that's a little unreliable. I still write a to-do list every single day, but definitely changing over to that website platform has helped tremendously in keeping me organized.
Awesome. Yeah. Our friend Taylor was also mentioned that when he was on a few episodes back. He was
it
talking
truly
about
is like
did that.
The best. It really is. Yeah.
Awesome. And it's a great crew over there.
You know what? It's so funny. I know you and I have talked about this before, but there's a lot of great products out there for photographers now. There's a lot of great systems, but something that is so important to me, because I'm referring products a lot of the time, is the humans behind it also.
Yeah.
So, you know, especially when it comes to like AI or anything that's going to automate, like obviously there's a lot of good stuff, but whoever has the best support, the best humans, the people, like that means so much to me. And obviously, like, you know, that like imagine how I feel about you guys, but Focal too. Like they're the most incredible group of people out there that truly want people to do well, and they put so much time and energy into helping artists. And they're really receptive to feedback. So if you're like, hey, I don't love this, they're like, what can you do to change it? Like they're so good about it. So I can't say enough good things about them.
It's funny. So in my previous life, previous career, whatever you want to call it, I was in the website space for photographers, and that's when you and I first met.
Yes, that's right. I was like, wow, I knew that.
And so what Focal is doing now is exactly with the direction that the company I was working for was planning on going. And so it's really, really, really nice to see a company doing that. Now they're not in the WordPress side, which is what I was in. They're in like their own platform, which is cool. But so it's really nice to see, you know, that happening, right? You're seeing a full solution that also has these like business tools baked into it that don't detract from other things, just help, right? So I love it. Yeah. So let's talk a little about editing. So again, not Imagen, because we will get to Imagen still, but before Imagen came into your life, or even since, but maybe something else related, what is one thing that you do for editing that saves you time?
Definitely like finessing my like go-to preset obviously saves me a lot of time. And then that has, you know, plugging that into Imagen has further saved time. But if you look at my style from when I started, you know, 10 plus years ago to now, it's very similar, but I've definitely locked down like the signature way I edit. And I get asked about how I edit all the time, or if people want to hire me for mentoring, they want to know about editing and how I edit skin and stuff like that. Which
and
feels
that,
so, like,
is that Lightroom or Photoshop?
It's mostly Lightroom, but it's mostly Lightroom now because I have finessed the presets. So, and I am working on new ones that have even further done that. But I find now that I found the perfect amount that I want, you know, with my color tones and curves and everything, I'm touching photos way less, which is great.
That's great. That's definitely great. Did you, I mean, you probably did. Did you hear the news that we're working on smooth skin for Imagen?
Remember I talked to you about this like a year ago, and I was like, is this going to happen?
Yeah.
I did not hear that news.
So at the last,
I've been away,
at the day two, the day two of the Imagination Summit, when you did your quickfire session, early in that event, like within like the first 10 minutes, Zoe dropped the you know, the news that we were working on smooth skin. That's what it's going to be called.
That is very exciting.
And it'll be part of the subject mask, you know, capabilities. I don't know exactly how it's going to work yet, and once I get my hands on it, I'll know more.
Oh,
But very exciting.
that is very exciting because I
Yeah.
do think I'm like very, very picky about retouching, and what takes
Mhm.
so long is making sure skin is finesse, and that's
Yeah.
literally the number one thing I get hired for to
Mhm.
teach is people want to learn how I'm doing the skin. So I was very curious how that's going to play out.
Yep.
Yeah.
Awesome.
It's
Um,
exciting.
yeah. Okay. One more question till we get to a really, really fun thing, and I do with every guest. So what is now one thing you do after a session, right? The job is done. You've done your editing, you've done any final retouching you need to do. What is one thing you do now after the session, whether it's delivery, whether it's follow-up, that has increased business, something that you do to increase business?
So something that I do after a session, I always try, in a perfect world, within 24 hours, I like to send out a sneak peek from the session to a client just to show them how excited I am, to thank them for their time, thank them for hiring me. And I pick a photo that I think that they will really love, and I retouch that and send it to them, and just say, like, I couldn't wait, like, I wanted to show this to you. And I gift that photo because I include so many photos in the package, but that's always like a gifted surprise photo. And clients love that. And then they have something right away they can share on socials. So that's definitely been like a great thing that clients really love. And then another thing that I do for weddings, I post about it quite a bit. I bring a little like mini Canon printer, and I use the Canon Connect app. And so I'll like actually be able to like go through raw files that I shot that day, and during dinner, while I'm like stuffing my face, I'll print out a few film prints so that they have something tangible from the day. And then I'll wait until they're like dancing or doing something where they're distracted, and I'll just go and put little film prints in their seat so that they can come back to it.
Nice.
And my clients really love that. And I've even had clients, like their wedding was like a year or two ago, like they'll send me a picture of their fridge and the photos are still on it, which is really cool.
That is cool.
Yeah.
That printer is Canon's own thing, or is that using a Fuji film, like a Fuji
No, it's
Instax?
like it's called the Canon selfie printer. So it's really tiny. It's really light. I think I have it around here. I don't. It's in my studio. So it's so great because it's literally like this big, and I can travel with it. And then it's such an easy thing to do that's so thoughtful, and clients love it.
Yeah, that's great. Do you just give them the print? Do you put it in some sort of like little, not like like one of those little cardboard folders for like?
No,
print?
I mean, I could start doing that. I'm like, wait a second. No, for weddings, I usually print off like 3 different photos. So I'll print off like a flat lay or a detail photo and like 2 couples photos, or something like special from the day. Like the last wedding I just shot, the couple like loved their dog, but obviously the dog couldn't come to the wedding. Or I guess not obviously, sometimes dogs do. But my second shooter was with the groom and got a photo of their dog. So I got her to send it to me. So I printed off some couple photos of them and then a photo of their dog from that morning. And they really loved that.
Nice. Out of curiosity, how much of if you had to put a percentage on it, how much of your business is weddings versus, I'll just say portraits, like family, that kind of stuff, versus this like commercial projects that you also get hired to do?
That's a hard question to ask because before it used to be majority, and then it was about, now I would say it's like 50, maybe 40%, which is funny because my socials make it seem like it's way more.
Well, I mean, you get a wedding, you got thousands of photos that you can spread out over.
You have so much content to put on there. So it's still like a decent amount for sure. Like I do love weddings a lot, and weddings, you get this front row seat to people's very intimate life, and then usually you carry on with them and you get to see their family grow and you get to be a part of other things. So I still do quite a few weddings for sure.
Cool. How many bar or bat mitzvahs have you done in your career?
I haven't shot any.
Really?
Sorry. Like bar mitzvahs or like Jewish weddings?
No, bar mitzvahs, bar and bat mitzvahs.
Oh no, I haven't shot any. I've attended. I haven't shot any, but I've shot like quite a few like Jewish weddings. But no, I haven't shot any. I haven't been asked to shoot any. But I don't really post like event stuff. So I have a lot of people try to hire for even like baby showers or stuff like that. Like that kind of stuff I don't shoot. It's usually just like portraits, couples, weddings, and then the commercial stuff.
So the reason why I asked is in a previous episode, I spoke with Braulio Rocha from, he's in Montreal.
Yeah.
And he's predominantly a bar and bat mitzvah photographer, and he does weddings, but his primary business is bar and bat mitzvahs. Yeah. And he said something really interesting in that episode, which was he loves shooting bar and bat mitzvahs just because, for one, he loves it more than weddings. But he says that they're more profitable because although they're a lot of times, I would say, just from growing up in that space, bar and bat mitzvahs are often quite over the top, like many weddings are. Mm-hmm. And especially in the United States,
most of them are more over the top than weddings.
Yeah.
In the best way.
Yeah, when you have all the kids involved, you got to do stuff to make it over the top. So he said that it's still over the top, so it still is very demanding, right? It's still a very stressful event. It's still very long. You're talking way more than 4 hours because you're talking 4-hour party, and then like the service before it and potentially other stuff before that, depending on your packages. So he was saying like they're long days, they're stressful, but afterwards, the stress is like gone. Like afterwards, there's no mother that's hounding you, right? Like the parents know your process. They're a little more relaxed with the bar mitzvah than they are with a wedding, or bat mitzvah than they are with a wedding. So he said he finds it's more profitable than a wedding because he's doing far less work afterwards. It's very interesting. So anybody who's interested in hearing that, check out Braulio's episode on the podcast. It's really interesting.
I'm definitely going to, because I'd be so curious, even just to see. Again, I'm really funny that way. Like even if it's something I don't shoot, I'm so interested and curious by other people's process and why they shoot, what they love about it, and like again, like their process behind it. Yeah. Even if it's not something I'm like going to be shooting myself, like. Yeah, and especially knowing how over the top and amazing they are. Like, I'd be so curious to be like, I wonder what it would be like to do one. Yeah.
So I've said it to Braulio, and I've said it actually. I just spoke with Jared Gionis on a live event this week. We're recording this late October. So earlier this week, from when we were recording this, I did a live event with Jared Gionis. And Braulio submitted one of his photos for Jerry to critique. And I said right to Jerry's face, if I was 13 and my parents said, what photographer do you want to hire to photograph your bar mitzvah? I would 100% choose Braulio. And I will go on record now and say that when my daughter is 13 and has her bat mitzvah, he will be flying to New Jersey to photograph her.
You're like, it's happening.
Yeah. If we are doing it here, because my wife actually wants to do it in Israel, like she went to Israel for her bat mitzvah. So if that happens, no. But if it's here, yes. So okay.
I look forward to it. It's coming. Yeah. We talked about it. It's coming.
It's coming way too fast. Okay. Here's my favorite part. Pick a color.
A color?
Yep.
Orange or yellow, whatever that is. Yeah.
Yeah, it's orange. It's orange. Okay. I'm going to shuffle through the deck, and you're going to tell me when to stop.
Okay.
Just tell me when.
Stop.
Okay. This is on you. You picked your own question.
Okay. I'm scared.
Okay. You got this. Which activities make you lose track of time?
Oh, social media. Like all it takes is for me to like if I'm uploading something or waiting for something on the computer, I'll be like, oh, I'll just check social media real quick, and then I'll be like, oh, and then like an hour.
Yeah. Why
So
did I do that? It's now like 6 hours later and it's the end of the
yes,
day.
and then you start like answering messages or like getting in, and then all of a sudden you're looking at like a cat video and you're like, oh my gosh, get back to work. So
Yeah.
yeah, social media for sure.
That's cool. Yeah. I mean, definitely had an easy answer, I think.
Universal for everyone.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, man. Okay. This is a very deep question. Not in the personal sense, deep in the business sense.
Okay.
Looking down at your business, and you can choose what part of your business that you want to do, whether it's weddings or whether it's these commercial projects. But look down at your business from this 30,000-foot view down. Can you share an outline breakdown of your workflow from lead to delivery?
Yes, but you want me to?
Yeah.
I thought there was a question and people were like, no, I can't. We're like, okay, so I just have to choose a genre or like an area?
Yeah, because I'm sure your workflow from lead to delivery is different for weddings than it is like if,
Totally.
if I want to think of a company. I'm going to say if Yeti cups, whatever Yeti is, I mean, what is it? Travel, outdoor gear? If Yeti hired you for a campaign, what would your workflow look like from lead to delivery?
Well, it wasn't Yeti, but Stanley has, which is like the same thing. I mean, just kidding. So different. So the funny thing is with commercial, it moves so quickly. And the demand is usually like, hey, we love your stuff. We want to hire you for this. Can you have deliverables by this date? And usually I'm such a yes person, so I'm going to be like, no problem. And they'll be like,
wait, that's like tomorrow?
Yes. They're usually like, it's honestly, no matter what, like commercial stuff, always the deliverables, so the content that they want you to produce and send over is something that they want like immediately. So it's never like, hey, we're doing a campaign and you have a month, or like it's never like that. At least for photography, in my experience. Maybe for video, it's different. So commercial is all over the map, but usually it starts off, which is why I love this job, is that I could wake up and check my email and my day could be totally different because of an email.
Right.
So that's why I think mixing commercial with portrait and wedding work keeps this job so fun. It's literally different every single day for me.
It keeps you on the toes.
Yeah, it really does. It keeps you on your toes and it keeps things really exciting, and it keeps your brain working in different ways with photography, like even how I would light a subject to a product. But with weddings, or I guess I could use weddings as an example, same thing. I do get a mix of people who contact me over social, so like Instagram or TikTok, but mostly Instagram, to reach out to inquire about weddings. And then I usually direct them to my email just because my socials do get a little nutty. And then from there, most of my clients I haven't met before. And a lot of them, because I do share so much personal life online, they don't feel like they need to meet me. They'll be like, yeah, we want to hire for this. Do you have it? And if I do, then we go right into deposit and contract. And then usually we don't speak for like a year or something like that. And then I would say a high number, like 70% of clients, I'm meeting them on their wedding day, or I'm seeing them for the first time on their wedding day, like to the point, and a lot of time because not always am I shooting here in my city. So I'm traveling out to see them. I'll like go in and like have to look for like a bridal robe and be like, hi, I'm Nicole. Which is so interesting because by the time the wedding wraps, I feel like I'm best friends with these strangers, which I think it was a big reason why I love weddings so much. But yeah, the start to finish process of working with clients with a wedding is so different than a commercial setup. So it's hard to say like, this is the set path, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So typically though, let's say we go the wedding route. So you get the lead comes in through social. That lead, are you now putting them into your focal back end, and then like a whole bunch of stuff happens?
Yes. So I create kind of like a client portal from them, and it's even better, obviously, if they write my website, because then it's kind of starting to generate that for itself. And then it's great because then I know, instead of going through like dozens of like notepad papers like I used to do, I know exactly what their retainer was depending on their package. I know like their date. I'll ask them like if there's any like, you know, sensitive topics or things I need to know about their wedding, so I don't have to like re-ask them that. I'll know their collection, number of hours that they want, and then from there, sometimes they book an engagement session, or like there's just like a lot of details that are in this client portal that just helps me look like I have my stuff together. Because again, after a year, like you've shot so many different things, you're obviously going to forget. So having like a point of reference that I can reference, and I'm not like, who are you again? Like that looks so rude. I can reflect on like everything within that client portal and look like that was like a fresh thing that we just talked about. So that's a huge reason why I love having that. And then from there, they can also, so they can sign their contract through there. I have so much details about how to prepare. I always send them like a welcome wedding guide that outlines lighting, vendors I love working with, timeline examples, so they can know how to structure their day if they need to know that. And that kind of helps them prepare for their day as well. So I'm not like repeating lots of questions. I have it jam-packed. And then I get them to send their balance through that same portal. So again, everything's in that one spot. And then obviously meet with them and shoot the day.
Are you using a specific tool for like delivery for galleries and stuff? Is that all part of that as well, or is there a separate thing you use?
Well, it's separate. So I use PickTime. PickTime is phenomenal. Again, another company that I love the humans behind, but it's also just, in my opinion, I've tried several galleries. In my opinion, it's just like one of the best ones for delivery, presentation, support, everything like that. So, and it looks very polished for clients to receive it. And I always create a highlight slideshow for clients of the photos, because I don't want them to just open a gallery and just start like picking at photos and seeing how they look. I want them to watch this highlight slideshow, and I tell them like, sit down together, like have a glass of champagne if you drink, and like watch this together. And I literally make it like a movie and have, you know, it set up the way I want them to view the day. So yeah, I usually get them to watch that first and then go through their gallery.
Awesome. Okay, let's dive a little bit into AI now. You have been using AI in your business for some time at this point, and I'm curious, now that you've got AI in your various areas of your workflow, even Canva has AI at this point.
I know.
What does the future of AI in photography look like to you?
I think this is only the beginning. For me, I know like when it first came out of the gate, a lot of people were very worried about it and very scared. To me, I look at it as a positive. I can see it opening up so much doors. I see it giving time back to me for my family. It's only made me a stronger artist because I can do things for clients that I couldn't do before. And again, just having the time to work on personal projects, to be with my family, do all of those things that I couldn't do before because I was just like locked behind my computer, makes me a better business person, a better artist for my clients, everything. So I look at it very positively, and I think it's here to stay, and it's definitely not going anywhere now that we've had a taste.
Yeah. Have you used any of Photoshop, I mean, I know you're predominantly working in Lightroom, but have you played around with Photoshop's AI tools for any retouching work or anything like that?
Absolutely. Generative fill is amazing. Again, I know it's interesting because I just taught at a workshop where there was several different photographers in different arenas. So some were like landscape, some were fashion. So it was interesting to get everyone's perspective because I think a lot of photographers, especially those in commercial and fashion predominantly, are a little bit more fearful of it because that's where we're starting to see it like really overtake with AI.
Mm-hmm.
But I know for me, because I'm kind of layered in what I offer and what I do, I've used it in all different arenas, and it's only, again, been like positive and awesome. So even, for example, I had a client where her husband struggles with mobility. So I went to them and shot in their, they were like, we'll just do photos like in our like garden area. And it wasn't ideal for where we were shooting. There were some like structures in the background and whatnot. And I was able to use like generative fill and AI to like extend the trees and to fill in the background and make it just more pleasing. And they were really happy with that. Like they were really glad. So I know that it's a touchy subject because people are like, oh, people are going to start photoshopping that they're in Switzerland and when they're not and stuff like that. And yeah, like that's going to be,
happen, but
it's going to happen. But could you also imagine someone like blowing up a huge picture of them in their living room, people being like, oh my gosh, like when did you go to China?
Yeah,
and they're like,
I didn't.
We didn't. Like, and they're like, cool. Like,
yeah.
Like I know I haven't
Fun
noticed.
Memory.
Yeah. Like I haven't noticed a decline in like destination requests.
Yeah.
But I've noticed like little things, like people saying, you know, not requesting, but people saying like, oh, so you could like literally make those houses mountains. And you're like, yeah, like little, you know, like things like that. But I haven't experienced people being like, can you make this Germany? And you're like, what? So for me, it's been very helpful with retouching sessions. So I have utilized it a lot, or extending backgrounds, doing like it's. I feel like after each update, it's only getting better and better.
You know, on this topic of like it replacing, you know, certain types, you know, one of the areas where I know a lot of photographers are a little nervous is headshots.
Yeah.
And you know, I've played around with all of these different AI tools. I mean, it's like I'm in that world, so I have to play around with them. And I was like, you know, it's been 2 years since I created a new headshot for myself, and I needed a new one, and I'm like, you know, let's see what this does. And the results were like very funny. And then it was like I don't know, August. I was in New York City. I helped Sam Hurd. I said to him like, hey, can I just like help? I'll carry your stuff. I don't care. I just want to help at your event and like just, you know, see you teach, you know, in your element, you know, in your own workshop, not in somebody else's workshop, like your own thing. And he's like, yeah, sure, come hang out. So I spent the day, I helped him out, just hung out, had a blast. And then like before the couple came that was modeling during the day, he used me as a subject, and he sent me the photos, and I'm like, this is my new headshot. Like these are great. I shared it with the team, and like everybody's like, Scott, that's your personality. And that is what the AI, these like headshot generators and stuff can't get. It's like, sure, it can generate you, but it can generate you with your personality, right?
Yeah.
So
I've actually talked extensively. I actually taught a workshop in Hawaii with Sam, and we were talking about AI. Because he's very passionate about it. Yeah. And it is, I mean, ultimately it's that. I think if you're, you know, if you are in a position that you need a headshot, like a very generic, whatever headshot for real estate or something, I don't know, just something to where it's like, you just want the bare bones. Sure. But even for me, like I don't even call them headshot sessions. I call them portrait sessions because again, my process is like we mood board together. We go over your outfit, hair and makeup is involved.
Mm-hmm.
We even right down to like talking about the backdrop, your personality, what inspired you to hire me for that. Like there's so much that I know that's not just for me, that's for so many artists that go into it, that it's like, I want people to look at these photos. And I always think too, like, I want you when you're 80 to look back at these photos and be like, I love these photos, not this like AI generated generic picture of me. I want you to be like, that was like who I was when I was 20, 30, 40, 50, right? So I think there's a place for it. I think that it could help out people who need that like quick whatever, depending on the arena that they work in. But there's always going to be a place where people also want the experience of having the photos taken too. So again, I know some people are worried about it, but I'm just not. Like, I'm just not. No.
Yeah. And I mean, this topic has come up a bunch in the podcast as well. And the idea of like people who couldn't physically have a wedding. Sure.
Yeah.
Throw it into AI and now you've got your wedding photos. Right? If you literally couldn't do it for some reason, maybe you just couldn't afford it. Maybe whatever, you just went to the courthouse. You didn't even have a friend with a phone that could come. Whatever it is. Sure, AI can help you create some photos that made it look like you had a wedding. You won't have the memories, but you have the photos. So anyway, it's it's very. I think it still just all comes back down to like experience. Like even a big reason why I love working with parents for couples photos is that I love making it feel like a date for them. Like they get all dressed up and they get to connect, and we get these beautiful photos of them. Again, that I think about like when they're like 80 or something, looking back on, and the goal is obviously to give them like the best photos, but the best experience. So when they look at those photos, because I think that's the biggest thing. When you look at photos, you remember how you felt when you did it. Versus obviously if you're looking at an AI version, you're just like, oh, that was a whatever. But I want people to look at it and be like, we were really happy, or we went out for that really nice dinner after, like, you know what I mean? So versus I remember when I thought of that prompt and it was so good.
I know. And honestly, it's not to hate on it, because I think there's a place for all of it to exist. Yeah. And like, I'm just saying, like, I'm so not bothered by it. Yeah. And I think I'm in a lot of photo groups where people are, and I just think people are wasting too much time being like really concerned with it.
So to wrap up the conversation on AI, you've been using Imagen for all your editing needs, and which we love to see. How did Imagen impact your life?
Honestly, like, I don't take it lightly how much time it's given me back. My family is like the most important thing to me. Time with my daughter. She's only 3, and you know, this is such a beautiful age, and it's really hard because I think back to even last year when, like, I was first talking to you about using it, and I was like, I don't even have time to set up a profile. Like, I don't even have time to do this. And now we laugh about it because you're like, imagine the time you would have had if you would have just did it when I said it. And I literally my husband would be cooking dinner, and I would have my computer in the kitchen, and she would be saying, play with me. And I'd be like, I just have to get this done. I just have to do that. Like, it sucks looking back on that, but it makes me so grateful to know how much more efficient I am, and that I'm still giving, if not the same, but better quality to my clients. So, you know, I wish you could hear how much I talk behind your back in such a positive way, because I'm just so grateful, because it streamlines that process for me, but I still get to spend the time that I really love on the photos, because I do enjoy editing, but because I am such a picky retoucher, especially with skin, is that now I feel like that process isn't so overwhelming, because the things that were overwhelming, like straightening out photos, taking down highlights, like just things that were like tedious, is taken care of. So that's just like I'm going into it, and now like the fun editing begins. So yeah, I mean, I can't say enough good things about it.
So Lindsay Kotler, she
Love
coined the
her.
term she coined the term straight out of Imagine, which has come up a bunch in the Imagine community. I'm curious, how many times how often are you finding yourself SOOI?
Oh, definitely for anything like scenery wise or anything where it's not an uptight portrait, for sure. Yeah. It's like I look at it and I'm like, oh my gosh, like and I have, because I am particular, I will actually go and like open up another catalog and like kind of retouch a few photos and compare them, and I'm like, yeah. Like, half the time it's doing a better job than me manually like going through and like obsessing. But that was taking the time and the care to set it up properly in the beginning. So yeah, it's just, I mean, what can you say like to a program that's giving you more time to like be with your people? Like,
Right.
Insane.
Right. Awesome. Nicole, where can listeners learn more about you, connect with you, and of course, see your incredible photographs?
Oh, thank you. I would say I'm the most active on Instagram. So it's just my name, so Nicole Ashley. But obviously, they can connect over email, which is hello@nicoleashley.ca. And then, my future vlog, if I ever get around to that. But I would definitely say I'm the most active on Instagram.
Awesome. Thank you so much for hopping in, for chatting, and for sharing all of your workflow, behind the scenes stuff. And I'm glad we were able to make this work.
I know. Thank you so much for having me. You know that I love you guys and the whole team. And I love talking with this stuff because, again, like, I wish that people were more open about this when I started off. It was always such a guessing game. And it's so cool to see how technology has evolved and how much it's helping photographers get their lives back and focus on the stuff they love to do. Like, I honestly think more people who will get into the industry will actually stay in it now because the burnout won't be as high and it's more achievable to do this as a full-time career with all of the advancements in technology. So I'm glad I stuck it out. I'm glad I get to see all of this.
Definitely. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Nicole, for taking the time to chat with me, to share all of your workflows. There's so many great takeaways, so much laughter, so much fun. I love chatting with you. It's always a good time. You have been listening to Workflows, presented by Imagine. To hear more from Workflows, to find links to our guests, and for an exclusive offer for Workflows listeners, please go to imagen-ai.com/podcast and be sure to subscribe to the podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts. Thank you for tuning in. Until next time.